So we've looked before at finding the perimeter of these irregular shapes, but what about finding the area of something that's not clearly a rectangle or a square, say? So for us, we get some shape like this that seems to have some corners and stuff in it. And we say to ourselves, how do we find this because of these jutted sections out, these missing sections? And there's two methods to doing it. So I'm going to do it this one way and this another way. So this is, if you like, I suppose, thinking outside the box this way, but maybe just splitting this thing up into two different shapes, okay? So let's look at this one here first. So we have this thing here, but let's break it up into two shapes we're comfortable with. Let's break it up into two rectangles. So if I draw like a dotted line down here, I can say, okay, this is rectangle A, and we'll do that in blue, and say this is rectangle B. And now we know that the total area, if you like, is going to be equal to our A area plus our B area. Yeah, so let's get area A then first. So what's area A going to be? Well, area A is this rectangle here, which has a width of 7 and a length here of 12. So that's going to be 7 centimeters by 12 centimeters, I think, which is 84. And let's not forget our units here, centimeters squared. And then let's get area B. And what's area B? That's 4 meters. Sorry, these are actually meters. The other one is what, centimeters. And it's actually very important that you don't mess up those units, because inside in your junior cert exam, if we forget our units, we're going to lose marks. So when they give us units, we're going to have to use those units, okay? So for area B, what's that? So area B is actually 4 meters by 6 meters. And that's 24 meters squared. So we actually have B is 24 meters squared. We have A is 84 meters squared. If we add the two of those, we get 108 and meters squared, and that is our total area here then. So that's one way of doing it, right? What about another way? So let's look at this shape here. So yeah, we could actually split this into two shapes, but this is probably the way I'd say I do the most. If I was to think about doing a question like this, I'd probably say, well, why don't we look at the whole rectangle, something like this, and we can say, we'd imagine it as originally being this maybe block of wood that a section was cut out of this section here, was taken away. So what I like to do is I like to actually take this as an original full rectangle, which I'll get the area for, and then I'll actually subtract this missing area from it, which is like taken away from it. So let's go with the full rectangle here for this. So say our full rectangle. Okay, so our full rectangle would have originally had a full width of 4 and a full length of 8, which gives us all of this big rectangle here, including the blue section. So that's going to be 8 centimeters by 4 centimeters, and 8 by 4 gives us 32 centimeters squared. And now let's look at the blue section, right? So what's the blue section going to be? So do we have a width or a length for the blue section? Well, yeah, because we know that the top is 8 and this section 3 goes across, suddenly it stops, then our blue section. But this full length here must be the same as 8 here. So what would we have added to 3 to get up to 8? So the width here must be 5 centimeters. Similarly, the full length down here is 4, but this only comes down 2. So it means we're missing another 2. This must have been 2 centimeters. So therefore our blue section should be 5 centimeters by 2 centimeters, which is 10 centimeters squared. Now to be careful, don't revert back to this way in here and say I add the two of these. No, remember our area here is just this stuff in this section here. So it's actually the full rectangle we imagined minus the blue stuff. So our actual area here, our answer, if you like, I suppose I'll call it, is going to be equal to the full original rectangle minus the section cut out And of course that is then going to be 22 centimeters squared. And that's it. So look, 2 ways of doing them. So I'll do a couple of more examples and you can have a look at that video and maybe pause them and try them yourself. Okay?